What's up guys, my name is Ryan and I just returned from road tripping around Iceland and I want to share with you my favorite places and experiences, so here's my Iceland top 10. Iceland is one of the most beautiful countries in Europe and the world, with volcanic landscapes, endless waterfalls, and gigantic glaciers. Iceland is home to some of the most incredible places on Earth. Let's start this video off at the Icelandic Highlands. Located in the interior of the country, the Highlands are an extremely unique region in Iceland, home to otherworldly landscapes. To access the Highlands, you'll need to go on some of Iceland's F-roads, which are dirt roads, and it's required to have a four-wheel drive car to go on them. One of the places I wanted to visit most in the Highlands is Landmannalaugar. To reach it, it's about a 3.5 hours drive from Reykjavik. And I thought it was going to be a difficult drive, but the F-roads weren't that bad. There is a river crossing at the very end, but you can park your car before the river and walk in, and that's what we did. I mean, I couldn't believe the landscapes here. It was so unbelievably colorful with so much raw beauty. We hiked in through some lava fields and up a mountain, and it was amazing to say the least. There's a good amount of volcanic activity in the area, with tons of vents shooting out steam. We spent several hours hiking around, and afterwards we explored the highlands around Landmannalaugar, and I just couldn't believe the landscapes here. On our way back, we stopped at the crater lake called Bláhylur. It was such an epic setting with the green mountain in the back, and there was also these iconic red craters nearby. Another cool spot was Sigöldugljúfur. It's this amazing canyon with several waterfalls and also a good amount of bugs when I was there. After, we're going to take a dip in some warm waters at the Reykjadalur hot spring river. Now, Iceland is famous for its hot springs, and what's special about this one is that it's a river. Now, to reach it, it's a long uphill hike that took us about an hour to get there. The hot springs are nestled in this valley, and there was a lot of volcanic vents shooting out steam, adding to the magic. Now, there's this nice boardwalk that lined the river, and there was a lot of places to get in the water. While we were here, it was about 10 degrees Celsius outside and about 40 degrees in the water. I mean, it felt so amazing. I mean, this place was magical and well worth the long hike to reach. Afterwards, we're going to visit Thórsmörk. Named after the Norse god Thor, this area definitely lived up to its name. It's home to some of the most epic landscapes I've ever seen. Now, to get here, it wasn't easy. Our rental car company specifically banned us from driving on this road, and after going on it, I understood why. You'll need to cross several glacier rivers, and some can get really deep. So to get there, we went with a tour company called South Coast Adventure, and they had this beefed up truck with huge tires, so we went through the rivers no problem. We first stopped at this glacier that was covered in ash from a recent volcanic eruption. It was such a dramatic spot. Afterwards, we did this hike to the Bláhylur viewpoint. It took us about 30 minutes to reach the top and offered some of the most incredible views. We got a 360 panorama of Thórsmörk and all the valleys and glacier rivers. The weather was cloudy and rainy, adding to the epicness of the location. After, we came back down and we had to cross this deep river. I mean, I thought we were going to flood for a second there. We were like 4 feet deep in the water, but we crossed it no problem. If you're looking for adventure, you gotta give Thórsmörk a visit. Afterwards, we're going to experience Seljalandsfoss. It's located right off the ring road below Thórsmörk. Now, Seljalandsfoss is easily one of the most famous waterfalls in all of Iceland, and with reason. There's a parking lot and just an easy walk to the falls. Now, what makes Seljalandsfoss so special is that you can walk behind it. I mean, the view is unreal, and if you come here during sunset, you'll be able to see the setting sun through the waterfall. I mean, such an incredible place. After, we're going to continue exploring southern Iceland. Now, I'd say southern Iceland is probably the most famous and popular region in all the country. It takes about 2 to 3 hours to get here from Reykjavik, and there's just so many attractions and beautiful places. One of the most well-known spots is Skógafoss. It's probably the most iconic waterfall in the country. Its drop is 60 meters high, and the power of the falls is insane. I walked pretty close to the waterfall, and there was rainbows and mist everywhere. Now, one of my favorite destinations in the area is Reynisfjara Black Sand Beach. It's this incredible coastline that stretches a few kilometers to the west. The sand is so black and unique. My favorite feature of the beach is the Reynisfjara rock formations. There are these jagged sea stacks that jut out of the sea with constant waves pounding on them. I mean, there was a lot of people on the beach, but the further down you go, you might be able to find some solitude. I mean, it's such an amazing place, well worth experiencing. While we're still in southern Iceland, we're going to visit Fjaðrárgljúfur. I'm sure I screwed up that pronunciation. Anyways, it's located about an hour from the Black Sand Beach. Fjaðrárgljúfur is one of the most famous canyons in Iceland, and with reason. There's a trail that takes you on top of the canyon with several viewpoints, and at the end there's a platform that offers a great view down into the canyon. There's also this little bridge at the beginning that gives you a unique perspective of Fjaðrárgljúfur. There's definitely a few trolls and elves hiding in there. Now afterwards, we're going to continue east on the ring road and visit some of Iceland's glaciers. Now if you look on Google Maps, you'll see the massive Vatnajökull glacier, which is the biggest glacier in all of Europe, and then it has a bunch of glacier arms that you can visit. One of my favorites is Svínafellsjökull. It's only a 10-minute hike and you'll be rewarded with this massive glacier with such a unique color. On the western side of the glacier, there was this lagoon with chocolate milk colored water filled with floating ice chunks. Now one of the most incredible places in the area is Jökulsárlón. It's this massive lagoon full of glaciers. The lagoon connects to the ocean, and so when the glaciers float out to sea, some of them wash up on Diamond Beach, and it's the most bizarre thing ever, having this black sand beach full of crystal clear ice. I mean, such a fascinating destination. After, we're going to continue heading east and visit one of my favorite places, Stokksnes. Located about 20 minutes from the town of Höf, Stokksnes is this picturesque black beach with the backdrop of the Vestrahorn mountain. It costs about $10 to access the area. You'll drive on this road out to the beach. One of my favorite features was the mounds of grass that made these uniquely shaped sand hills. Now while we were here, the wind was blowing all the black sand and it just added to the magic of the place. The beach there is really cool. There were some nice waves and the view of the Vestrahorn mountain is spectacular. If you keep heading east on the ring road for about 45 minutes, you'll reach Estrahorn. It's this beautiful mountain with the road wrapping around it, and then there's another black sand beach that extends for several kilometers. After, we're going to visit Hengifoss. Located about a 3 hours drive from Höf, I have to say that Hengifoss is my favorite waterfall in all of Iceland, and it's also the third tallest waterfall in the country with a height of 128 meters. To reach it, it's a decent uphill hike that took us about 30 minutes to get to the waterfall. On the way up, you'll pass the Landmannalaugar, which is a unique waterfall with basalt columns. Now once you reach the top, you'll get a great view of Hengifoss. There's a boardwalk and trail that lead you up to it. What's so unique about Hengifoss is the red layers of clay sandwiched between the stone. I mean, I've never seen such an intense red in nature. On top of Hengifoss, there's 2 smaller waterfalls, and then there's just desolate plain that looked like it went on forever. I mean, just such an enchanting landscape. Afterwards, we're going to head over to the eastern fjords to visit Seyðisfjörður. Located in what some believe to be Iceland's most beautiful fjord, Seyðisfjörður is this charming little town, and it's one of Iceland's main cruise ports with ships coming from the Faroe Islands and Norway. One of the highlights of the town is the Rainbow Road that leads up to the main church. Now if you've seen the movie Walter Mitty, the iconic scene where he longbirds in Iceland is on the road that you drive on your way to Seyðisfjörður. Now afterwards, we're going to visit the Stuðlagil Canyon. Now famous for its basalt columns, you can reach the canyon by driving about an hour from the town of Eyjafjörður. Now there's a few ways you can experience the area. You can hike in from the southern side of the river, or you can also go to this parking lot, and then there's some stairs that take you down to the platform, and it gives you a decent view of the canyon. If I could do it again, I'd definitely hike in from the other side. You'll be able to get closer to the rocks and river, but regardless, the area was just really beautiful, and the rock formations here are so fascinating. Afterwards, we're going to continue on the ring road up to northern Iceland to visit Dettifoss. Now famous for being one of the most powerful waterfalls in all of Europe, Dettifoss is 100 meters wide and 45 meters tall and is fed by a glacial river. Now to see Dettifoss, you can go on either the west or east side. We went on the west side, and it's definitely the more popular option. From the parking lot, it was about a kilometer walk to the falls. I mean, I couldn't believe the power of Dettifoss. I mean, it was so loud, and the gray glacier water was stunning. There was this little area where we could get pretty close to the falls. Then there was a platform above that offered a great view of Dettifoss. Now if you want to visit a less known place with comparable beauty, you can visit Hafragilsfoss. It's just a short drive from Dettifoss, and I was just amazed by the waterfall and the canyon here. It kind of reminded me of the Grand Canyon, just Iceland's version. I mean, it's definitely a hidden gem that most people don't visit. Now if you continue west on the ring road, you'll pass Lake Mývatn. It's this volcanic lake with some really unique scenery. There's tons of craters that line the lake, and also a lot of volcanic activity in the area. I will say the bugs here were crazy towards the end of August, so just be aware of that. Now as you continue driving on the ring road, there's some really beautiful places you can stop at, such as Skógafoss. I personally really like the scenery of Eyjafjörður, which is the fjord that leads to Akureyri, which is the second largest city in all of Iceland. Now afterwards, we're going to head to western Iceland to visit the Snæfellsnes Peninsula. Located about 2 hours drive from Reykjavik, the Snæfellsnes Peninsula is home to some incredible scenery. One of the most famous places on the peninsula is the Kirkjufell mountain. I mean, I love nothing more than a perfectly shaped mountain, and I think Kirkjufell is about as perfect as they come. It literally is shaped like a wizard's hat. It stands at 463 meters high and is believed to be one of the most photographed mountains in all Iceland. It's located just a few minutes from the charming little town of Grundarfjörður. Now, one of the best places to view the mountain is from Kirkjufellsfoss. It's a series of waterfalls near the base of Kirkjufell. There's a parking lot that costs about $10, and then it's just a short 5-minute walk to the falls. I came here for both sunset and midday, and both occasions were stunning. I mean, places don't get more photogenic. Another impressive location on the peninsula is Bjarnarfoss. It's this beautiful waterfall that you can get a great view of from the road. Nearby is also the little village of Arnarstapi. There's some really cool sea cliffs with unique rock formations, and then there's a nice walk along the coast. I also found this unnamed waterfall that cascaded into the ocean, and this place is truly magical. Well, that is it from my Iceland top 10. There's still so many places I didn't show in this video, so I'll definitely be making a part 2. Let me know where your favorite place is in Iceland in the comments below. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at shirley.films. It's Ryan, and we will see you later.